Okay, welcome to my tutorial for how I made this Prime Time Deluxe artwork. Okay, so let's get right into it. I used Photoshop, Adobe Photoshop, and let's zoom in. This is what it looks like. Okay, so I made most of the assets I used for the entire work was AI generated using Gencraft. So I can drop the link to their site. I also use the app. So what happens is when you subscribe to their premium membership, you're able to generate photos and backgrounds using prompts. You could also use your pictures, so you could get exact lookalikes and then choose the style and cartoon that you would want. Okay, so in Photoshop, this is the file, but I'm going to recreate it from scratch. So I went to File, New. I usually use 3000 by 3000. It's also here 3000 by 3000, and I create. That's the square pixel. So here you have your background, and these are all the two assets. So first off, I load up my background picture into my Photoshop, and then from the sides I can zoom in and zoom out. So from time to time we'll be checking the main work for reference, so we could recreate it almost exactly as it is. So when I'm done, I clicked enter, and here I have the background. So we move on to the characters, or we go for the hourglass first. Okay, so for clip arts, they're usually in PNG format, and you could just search for something, maybe a wristwatch. These are all clip arts. They have transparent backgrounds. Alright, so I found it. Here you have my clip arts. Click and drag into Photoshop to a new document, and there you go. See that it blends into the environment directly. So I scale it down and then keep it somewhere in the water. Alright, I think it's okay now. So next thing we'll do, we have, if you look at here, this is a layer panel. We have the background. You can toggle them off and on. The background is under, the hourglass is on top. So move on to the next. Let's work on the characters. Okay, so let's drag him over the hourglass. And we'll zoom in. There are many ways to select a subject, but I usually do that automatically. Select subject. I give it some time, and Photoshop highlights the different edges for me, and then I could fine tune it. Okay, so we zoom in, make sure everything is okay. Scroll down. Alright, I don't want this aspect of this rouge. So this is lasso tool. Switching to default lasso, I hold alternate and it shows that minus there. And then I manually with my mouse drag out, select this area, and voila. I left the shadows there intentionally. Okay, let's work on this edge. It has something promising. I hold down the shift and I highlight it. Just click and drag So I think it's fine-tuned enough. So you press L on the keyboard to go to lasso tool if you don't want to select it from there. Then I click select and mask. Okay, on the right here I already have my presets. You see that the subject there everywhere around becomes a bit transparent. So okay, it exports to a new layer, so the old layer is still there, so I'll delete that. Then the new layer, I'll press Ctrl T for transform, or I can come up here to edit and transform. So after transforming it, I scale it down a bit so it looks lifelike. Okay, let's compare with what we have here. So you see, we're getting there. Alright, so in our new project he was looking the other way, so still on transform, right click, go to flip horizontal, makes him look the opposite direction. So far so good. Then I press move, that's my V, and I move him a bit to the right. Okay, so the way I like to do it, I like to bring all my characters in, then later on work on the fine tuning, the shadows, the lighting, and all that. So let's name this guy Juby. So we've gotten Juby's character. Let's bring in my character next. That's this guy. I'll drag him in. And I scale it down. You could actually make a selection before you scale it down so you can really see clearly. So while this image layer is selected, I'm going to select subject. Then I'll wait for it to automatically do that. Processing. Okay, I hit my Z and I zoom in, and you see that some places are limited. Now I could hit the W. The W is another automatic way of selecting without manually doing that. You just click and drag, and with your bracket keys, left bracket to decrease, right bracket to increase, but I like to keep it small so it gets those edges well. Can automatically do so. So I'll create my own shadows. So I hold down alternate and release the shadows, but it's kind of rough, so let's do it manually with the lasso tool. So I'm gonna hold down shift and drag everything and create that selection I want. So I think it's pretty much good down there. Let's go up a bit. Oh yeah, the glasses, I fine-tuned that later, but I'll give you a quick tutorial. We'll work on that later. So we've gotten the selection, go to the lasso tool L, right click, select and mask. So my presets are saved. Let me show you what I mean. Output to new layer and all of that. Okay. So let's check the reference image. Okay, it was slightly to the left. Let's see. Okay. Alright, so let's zoom in a bit. And delete the old layer, name my character Acer. Okay, so the next thing we're going to bring in is these two guys by the right and left. So scroll up. Now we're going to do some detailed selection here. Okay, so Same thing, select subject. You see that it selects the subject, but I want the car too. So to do this, I press W, increase bracket size a bit, and select the car. Later I would do something about the background that I do not want. Okay. There. So delete all image. Well, sometimes if you're not sure of your selection and you need to go back, then you use the original one to go back. So this is it. You drag it all the way to the right. Enter. Let's zoom in and zoom out. So let's look at our reference image. Yay, we're getting there, we're getting there. Okay, let's import this other guy. Okay, and go to select, same process, subject. Okay, so switch to lasso tool, polygonal, because there are a lot of straight line edges here. We want to get the speed boat and double click when I'm done. Get these edges too. Here, here, here. Work on other details later. Okay, so we'll rename our former one. That's Andy King, one of my producers. Name this one Mercury, another producer. So we'll scale it down, Ctrl T to transform, scale it down. Then at this corner, I rotated it a bit, something like this. Increase it and bring it down so the edges won't show. Yeah, something like this. And we'll get in there. Okay, so next up is the text. Prime Time Deluxe. So here's what I did. You go to your text tool and just in that open space, switch your colors to white. Then caps lock, type Acer Chap. Okay, the font I used here was Big Jump. So with the move tool, I'm dragging it up there. But if you notice in this part, it was kind of warped, bent in a certain way. So and the color there is brown. So the color palette, switch to dark brown color, something like that. So I'm almost done with the text. I right click and I convert it to a smart object. Now smart objects allow you to make a lot of edits and you can retrace your steps. For example, now this is at layer panel, this is Acer Chap, this is text. It's no longer a text layer, but if you double click it, it opens a new file and you see this is a text layer there. So we could do a lot of things. That's story for another day. So using this smart object, I can carefully warp what I want to do now. Okay, so drag it a bit. So when we're done, enter, and then where's our glass? Let's rename it our glass. So we drag that Acer Chap text. Then next up is the shadow, something here. Notice. So let's work on that too. Now Ctrl J is to duplicate. So we move our duplicate, we move it above the hourglass layer, and you see that. So we will transform it and flip it vertically. So it has that reflection like. And now for the effect, we're going to go to the blend layer. You see this normal. I click it here, use overlay, okay, soft light is better. So that's that. Soft light. And that's that for the reflection. We can manage the opacity, reduce it a bit. I think 71 is okay. Alright. The next thing we'll work on is the main text, Prime Time Deluxe. And we'll come up here, click the layer above, and then type. Still your caps lock on. So we'll do them individually. Prime first. The font we used was Bada Boom. So let's switch it here. BADA. Okay, and the color. You can change it here or you can change it here. Color, let's use white. Okay, Ctrl T, scale up text a bit to increase your font sizes. You either use the transform or you come here with T and T. Scroll the left to reduce, scroll the right to increase. So that's that. And if you notice in the main one, you see that there are brown edges here. So we'll come to that. So now in this text, if you right click, you go to blending options. First thing we're going to do is the stroke. Create a stroke and change the color to brown. Let's see. Okay. Then the gradient. You notice this is somewhere white, and this is somehow gray. See where the color is. So that's the gradient we're gonna use. So I don't have to start using text tool and typing all this. I'll duplicate this, and next thing I'll create is time. I'll edit the text and type time here. So we'll go to the stroke and we'll change the color to orange. There. And scale up the text a bit, slightly bigger. Move to adjust the position. So we duplicate prime again for the deluxe. Ctrl J, or you right click and you click duplicate there. So we'll move this up. Still with move to drag it. Okay, supposed to move this below time. And then change the text to deluxe. Double click on that T. And you have DELUXE. So now what I usually do, I like grouping stuff. Time, deluxe, and I hold down shift key and I click here. Select all these and I click this group icon, or I use Ctrl G. That way, if I'm using the move tool, I move everything together. And I name it title. Then all these characters, I usually group them and I name it characters. Alright, so it looks good so far. Now we'll work on the shadows. Here, here. So let's open up these characters and let's start with Julie here. Ctrl J, or let's do Ctrl and click here and select solid color and black, and Ctrl T, transform that and flip it. So you have a shadow, and drag the shadow layer behind, so it's under. Alright, so come to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, convert to smart object. You can always edit the values later, that's why it's a smart object. Let's reduce opacity. Okay, and there you have that. So let's now, for my own shadows, I was pretty much manual with it. I didn't do shadows that way. Here's what I did. I created a layer under, Shift Ctrl N. Let's name it Acer Shadows. I use the brush tool, B, and zoomed in so I could see what I was doing. Now, there are two ways you could do this. You could use a brush to use the space, the bracket keys increase them, and you could just brush around. Well, here's what I did. I used the ellipse tool. I click here, and I created an ellipse. Enter. I used Gaussian blur. Same process. Ctrl T. Move it in the direction. Okay, then Ctrl G, duplicated it, brought it here, then reduce the size so much more to match the tip toe. I'm holding down my shift key to adjust it. Okay, now we're almost getting there, but it's not there yet. Let's look at the reference and see what we did there. Okay. So here, we will now use the brush tool. Let's come down to that layer. Ctrl Z if you make a mistake. I'm going to scale that shadow down a bit. Yeah, so it's flat. Okay. Alright, so I think we're making progress. Then we duplicate, click layer, create a shadow, but we're not going to use the entire, we just want the leg. Ctrl T, right click, flip vertical. Drag it down under Acer, then rotate it towards this way. So this is a mask layer already created. It's masked by the color fill. So we're going to use the brush and brush out these areas we do not need. Okay, reduce my SA a bit. here. Okay. Then reduce the opacity here to around 71 or so. Then we do our portion block. Still reducing that. Let's see UV shadow and reduce it a bit. Alright, so we're done with the shadows. Next is color grading. Alright, we'll go all the way here to, I really use adjustments, brightness and contrast. Increase it a bit, increase the contrast a bit, and levels once in a while, but I don't always use it. Increase it, so I think that's too much. And looks good. Okay, you see the difference between this and this is the background is a bit zoomed in, if you feel what I'm saying. So you could just adjust that, highlight the characters, backgrounds, everything, set the title, Ctrl Z, Ctrl T I mean, zoom everything in. That way. Then you scale down. And you scale down Mercury and Andy King's characters a bit. Ctrl T. So, and there you have it. Prime Time Deluxe cover art.